Hey guys, this is Deb. We are going to make a card today. I'm going to show you a quick card, and we are going to be using this Painted Illusions, which is one of the product of the month, as well as this Fabulous Sayings. So I do offer a tutorial for free if you place a $75 order with me every month. So if you place an order this month, you are actually going to get a tutorial for the latest product of the month. So you get 12 projects from 12 different demonstrators, and you get that completely free, and you get it digitally to use that product that you just got. So, but we're going to use these. This is from January. This is from February, and that is that. So, all right. So let me go ahead and show you the pieces we need. So we're going to use a 11 by 4 1/4 piece of cardstock. This is Flirty Flamingo, and it is scored at 5.5. And then we are going to use a piece that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to double check this because all of a sudden I just want, yeah, it's 4 by 5 1/4. Then we have a 2 1/4 inch circle and a 2 inch circle. So we're going to have those two that we're going to use to layer. And then we're going to take just some of our scrap pieces. So you're going to need 4 of them. And so this is great because I made a whole lot of different cards with this paper, and I had all these different pieces. So this is just a super simple card. So one of these is slightly longer than the other. So you can see this one right here is 3 7/8, and these are all 3 3/4, and they're all 1 1/4 inch. So pretty straightforward as far as the paper goes. So all we're going to do is we're going to take the white piece of cardstock that we have, and we are basically going to adhere these into a pattern. So when you do this particular card, one thing I would suggest is you lay out all the pieces first. So I would lay out this piece here, and then we'll lay these 3 out however we choose to kind of, like, you know, because you have 2 sides, right? So you can pick the side that you want for the front of the card. Now, since I'm using Flirty Flamingo, I'll show you another card at the end of this video using the same designer series paper, but different colors. So this is roughly the pieces that I want to use, and this is how I want to lay them out. Okay, so I'm going to put 3 at the top and 1 at the bottom, and this is why you need that longest piece at the bottom here. So now when it comes time to adhere them, what we're going to do is we're going to first adhere this bottom piece. That's going to kind of be our anchor. And the reason you guys want to lay them all out in the first place is, sorry, I feel like I'm yelling. I think my ears are going bad. All right. You know me, always have a glue issue when I get ready to do a video, you guys. I tell you, it never fails. All right, let me see. Okay, we'll try a different one. Let me see. This one looks like it has maybe a little bit more in it. Here we go. All right, let's see. Okay, there we go. That other one still has glue. I probably just need to put a little push pin. If you take a push pin and put it down the center, that will loosen up any kind of little glue burgers that are sitting there. All right, here we go. So I'm going to put this piece in first and get a nice margin on each side. Okay, so I am looking to make sure that I kind of get the sides and the bottom kind of even. And then that is going to be a nice anchor for my next pieces. And then what I would suggest is you do your 2 side pieces. right? So I'm going to kind of remove that one out for a minute. And I want to make sure these pieces line up with the corners on those sides. Okay, that way we get, you know, it just looks a little more uniform. Now you could choose to leave it so it's not completely lined up that way. That's fine too. But again, I'm just going to look and make sure that my top up here is not too different from the bottom. And then I'm going to make sure I have it kind of lined up on the side and get a good a good border there. All right, and now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And we'll add this piece here. So you guys are going to have to put in the comments if you have gotten, if you've went ahead and purchased any of the product of the month. You know, it's kind of a nice little $5 add-on when you hit that $75, you know, $75, you can pick one, right? So it makes, you know, it's kind of like, it's a little like Celebration, right? Only it's kind of all year long. All right, now my last piece is going to go right there in the middle. So again, I'm just going to look to make sure what my border might look like on that side. And then we're going to go ahead and add some glue. So pretty easy, right? This is not a complicated card by any means. And it uses pretty standard measurements outside of this piece that's 3 7/8. I think it is a pretty straightforward card. Everything's kind of runs on that 1/4 inch, you know, measurements. We don't have to go too into the 5/8 and that kind of thing. It's just that one, just that piece right there. All right, so there we go. Now we're going to take this and we are going to adhere it to our card base. And again, I'm just going to double check and make sure I know where the margins here are. So I kind of have an idea of how much space I have. And the reason that helps is then when you go to lay it down, you have kind of at least a little bit of a reference on what that border should look like. That doesn't mean that we'll get it perfect right every time by any means, but here we go. Okay. Here we are. And we will put this right down, kind of slide it over a little bit. Up and over, and there we go. All right. Okay, perfect. So there's our card base, and now we're ready to stamp our greeting. And I already have that out. We're going to make a thank you card, and I'm going to use Secret C as the card color, or our ink color. All right, I forgot my mat, my little sponge mat here, but that's all right. We'll do it without it, okay? I have to just make sure I let it sit for a little bit. So we're just going to tap that into our ink, and then I'm going to line it up here, get it even on all the sides. And I'm just going to push it a little bit more because I'm on a hard surface. If you ever run into where sometimes you don't get that complete image and you're on a hard surface, just hold it down a little bit longer, you know, count to 2 or 3, and you might find that that helps you get that more solid image. You guys, that is it. We are going to take this then and adhere the white piece to our Flirty Flamingo circle. And then, of course, we'll pop our circle up on dimensionals. And I'm going to center this all the way around. You know, you guys can always do where it's kind of off to the side like this, or falls at the bottom and almost looks like a nested circle. Sometimes I think I get in very much a habit of just always putting it in the center, but lots of different ways to lay that out. All right, now let's go ahead and add some dimensionals to the back. And I will just put one on each, kind of each side, and we'll put one in the middle. Just in case we decide to mail this out to somebody, it'll be nice and secure. They won't get the big dip in the center. All right, here we go. Get this out of the way. This on, put it right here in the middle. All right. And then we probably would want to put on some embellishments, which I don't have any here with me. So you guys can tell this is one quick video, but there you go. That is the card. Super easy, a great way to use up some of this product of the month, I think. Okay, now let me show you another one that does have embellishments on it. So this is a different, this one's in Granny Apple Green. Same sentiment, and I put a few little starbursts on here. But you can see how you can get some cards that all look very unique, very different. And you can just pick any of those complementary colors that are on the back of the paper here. You know, because you have Darling Duckling, Floating Flamingo, Granny Apple Green, Lost Lagoon, Misty Moonlight, Puddle Pink, and Pretty Peacock. So lots and lots of choices in that paper pack. All right, you guys. Thanks so much for joining me, and that is the card. And again, if you would be interested in the tutorial, you just place a $75 order, and then you can get that free tutorial emailed to you. All right, you guys, thanks for joining. See ya. Bye.